Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another series of GMS on the Job, being brought to you through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. This is the brother Yashamai coming back at you with another video. As you may know, I am at Esau's plantation doing the physical work. But while I'm doing the physical work, I am also doing the spiritual work by providing spiritual lessons and spiritual edification to the sake of edifying the Lord's elect, providing a decent meal that they might be fed. Now in this lesson, I wanted to talk about pain because pain is not always a bad thing. Okay, pain is not always a bad thing. Pain can come in the form of many things. It can come in the form of mental pain, like mental pain, meaning you might have a headache, a migraine. Okay. The pain can come in the form of emotional pain, which is pain you feel when your mind is going through a discomfort in life that rubs you the wrong way. Anger is an example of this pain that hurts. Sadness, something happened in your life where you might have lost a loved one, somebody was close to you, and you cry about it. You're somewhat depressed. Okay, so that's emotional pain. Then you have physical pain, which is what you feel in the physical world. You punch a wall and you end up breaking your knuckles and it hurts. That's physical pain. You might have bumped your knee against the edge of a table while you was walking through your living room. Physical pain. Okay. Your fingers might have got smashed in the door. Physical pain. So there is all sorts of pain we go through in this walk of life, in this truth. And many people, when they look at pain, they see pain as a bad thing, as something, which is something they're not supposed to be feeling. And that's absolutely wrong. Okay? We're all supposed to know some form of pain one way or another. And that's before the kingdom of heaven is established. We're all supposed to go through some form of pain in this truth. Now, there is always a saying in the world, what hurts you makes you stronger. Okay? The reason why women don't like pain is because it hurts. And what's the opposite of pain? Comfort. And that's exactly what women love. Women love comfort. Once they lose that comfort, what happens? They bug out. They protest, they whine, they complain, they bitch. Until they get back into that comfort zone. It's not like that with every woman on the planet, but the vast majority of the people on the planet have that kind of mind state. But now, if you're an Israelite man, which the true Hebrew Israelites, according to the scriptures, are the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. These are your true Hebrew Israelites. Now, if you're a Hebrew Israelite man, you're supposed to be willing and ready at all times to go through pain. Because pain is how you become a man. Okay? You know what kind of male grows up in his life not going through any kind of pain? He grows up becoming a sissy. Now, he may not appear to be a sissy on the outside, which a sissy would be like short for like your sister or whatever. You become like a woman. In other words, you know, you might grow up to be flimsy, feminine, effeminate, Queer. Okay, the F-bomb. You get what I'm saying? Them weirdos with the blue and green hair, acting like women. Okay, yeah, them. You end up like them, the F-bomb. Okay, that's what happens when a male grows up, you know, without pain. And if you don't grow up to be effeminate, if you don't grow up to be feminine, if you don't grow up to be soft, if you don't grow up to be, you know, a piece of cake or flour, which we know what the book of Job says about a man that's born of a woman that coming forth as a flower, right? You know, if you don't end up growing up like that, you end up being somebody you know, who end up on drugs. You end up joining a gang. You end up making the wrong choices in life that could lead to you, the rest of your life, being miserable. So pain is very important. Even women must experience some kind of pain, because without pain, well, what's life without pain? Wantonness, no discipline, no discretion, no discernment, no respect, no manners, unruliness is what you get when a man or a woman grows up not knowing any form of pain. You see, when you was a child and you did things that your parents told you not to do, but you did it anyway, you got your ass whooped for it. And that the pain from that ass whooping taught you what? The pain from that ass whooping taught you not to do that ever again. Because if you do, you're going to get your ass whooped again. And you might get more licks than before. Even though you're not supposed to exceed 40 licks. But you see, when we lived back in the ancient world, when our children did something that was wrong, we would tie them to a tree and we would whip them on the back. We would whip them on their thighs. And this was for the sake of them not bringing shame or dishonor to your house. Because if your house in the midst of Israel, which is our homeland, if your house was known for bringing shame and dishonor to the land, the people on the land looked at you a certain way. Nobody would want your son. Nobody would want to deal with you. People wouldn't want to be around you. So you would whip You would inflict pain on your son in particular, because the more dominant species on the planet is the male, point blank period. So you would inflict pain on your son by whipping him. 40 stripes. No, 40 stripes, no more than that. Okay, 40 stripes. Okay, that what? That ye suffer sin not upon him, like it tells you in the book of Proverbs. Okay, and that he do not bring shame or dishonor to your house. And through that pain, you learn to do that which is right. And you learn to stay away from that which is wrong. Because if the Heavenly Father has to discipline you, it's going to be through a very painful death. And I don't think anybody wants that, okay? A death by torture, because that's one of the most horrible ways to go out. So, you know, in order to avoid that, right, you would whip your children. But in this generation, we've witnessed the many different type of children who grow up in this society not getting whipped by their parents. We've witnessed that. And what happens? They grow up to be disobedient. They grow up to be unruly. Okay? They grow up to be unruly. They grow up having no discretion, no discernment, no respect, no self-containment. They end up being a drug dealer, a gangbanger. They end up making their own life choices, which either leads to what? Their death or imprisonment for the rest of their life. Or if they do go to prison, they get sodomized by some prisoner bigger and stronger than them. Then they come out even worse than what they were before they went in. Because now they're flimsy, they're a sodomite. You see, weirdo. You know, you don't discipline your child when they're young. They grow up with different color hair, while wearing skinny jeans while sagging, you know, getting tattoos and piercings. They end up growing up to be completely disobedient children. You know, they grow up to be emotional. They can't handle criticism because they take it as rebuke. They can't handle criticism because they take it as disrespect. You can't tell them shit, and the moment you do, they're quick to fight you. They're quick to inflict harm on you, all because you gave them a piece of their mind on what they're doing wrong. So now you start to understand why pain is important. You know, the scriptures tell you that if a man smote another man, meaning, you know, he punched him or whatever, well, hey, guess what? That man has the right to throw the punch back. And that's a manly way of living, you know? Hey, because if somebody kept rubbing you the wrong way, you know, you're not going to just, you know, sir, could you please stop? Nah, you're going to give them a warning. Hey, look, you don't cut that shit out, man, I'm going to have to put hands on you. Because back in the ancient world, sometimes problems were solved through fights. Oh, you see? Problems were solved through fights. If you had a serious problem with somebody, that hey, it was time to throw hands. You see? But in this society, if somebody is caught fighting, you know, oh my God, call the police. So somebody call the police. Oh my God. Oh shit. Oh. Come on. It wasn't like that in the ancient world. Now, of course, back in the ancient world, there were cases where, you know, some fights were so furious that, you know, crowds of people had to come out and break up the fight because, you know, you didn't want the guy killing the other guy with his bare fist. Because, hey, Jake, hey, if it ever got to that point, Jake would literally beat somebody to death, man. So, hey, in some cases, you literally had to break up fights back in the ancient world. You know, there were some fights that were more honorable, you know. The guy who was beaten in the fight, you know, he'd kind of like back off. And the guy who realized he wanted to fight, you know, he would low-key kind of back off, you know. And then guess what? They'll go to separate ways and you know, problem solved. You know, some problems are better solved by pain being inflicted on somebody, you know. You know, just like in school, you know, if you got sick and tired of somebody, you know, spreading bad rumors about you that weren't true and saying this and that, you know, eventually it's going to lead to a fist fight. And 9 times out of 10, the person that was in the wrong is the person who lost. And the one who was offended, that person is normally the one who wins. You know, you had a child and you was tired of him doing something after you told him not to. You told him to wash the dishes 4 times, and he's still up in his room playing Call of Duty. You know, it's time for an ass whooping. Really, it's time for an ass whooping after the second time you told him. You know? And then afterwards, you'll take his game system and lock it away in your room. You know? Because that's how it was back in the ancient world. You know? You always disciplined your children, you know? You know, you might have been a child. You didn't know what a hot burner was on a stove, but then you put your hand on it and you was like, ah. But guess what? After that experience, you knew not to put your hand on that burner again. And through that wisdom, you become stronger. So what am I saying here? This society lacks pain. Nowadays, you see people and they feel like they could just do whatever the hell they want. Because in some cases, they know that they can get away with it. You know? This society has become so effeminized that, you know, people can literally get away with doing something to somebody else and not be repaid for it. You give somebody some money and then they don't pay you back, right? You're the one who has to suffer for it. You can't do anything because if you go to try to exact that money from that person, you're the one that's going to be sitting in jail. You know, you're the bad guy now, you know. And the person who robbed you, he's the victim. That's the kind of society we live in. We live in a very unjust society that lacks pain. Because through pain, we learn what? Discipline. We learn order. We learn instruction. We learn right from wrong. Okay? You take your rod and you stick it inside the butt of another person, guess what? The consequence for that is getting some kind of disease. Okay? okay? You get some kind of disease that might be incurable. You eat pork, you get worms, you get parasites, you get larvae of eggs inside your body. You get trichinella worms, you get tapeworms, okay? You eat shrimp, lobster, or crabs, okay? You get what do they call it? Vitiligo. You get vitiligo, okay? You get a weakened immune system. Okay? You get severely sick easily. You end up with all kind of chronic illnesses like asthma, bronchitis, and all these various things come from lack of pain. Not being told what is right from wrong in your youth. You know, you see, pain is how you become a man. When you watch that movie 300, Leonidas, he had his no, it was Leonidas himself, His father had him out there in the wilderness at a young age, man. Dealing with the wildlife, the dangers of wildlife. Okay? I'm pretty sure he experienced pain. Okay? I'm pretty sure he experienced pain in his endeavors out in the wildlife. He probably stepped on a couple of sharp rocks, fell into a cactus, He got scratched up after combating with a tiger. But it's through that pain that you become stronger. Pain is how you develop as a man. You lose a close person, you lose somebody in your life that's close to you. You don't get weak about it and mope about it your whole life. Nah, man. Instead, you move on. You become stronger for that individual. No, you become stronger by moving on, man. And that's how you develop yourself as a man, by going through pain. Pain is how you become strong, because what hurts you makes you stronger. You're not going to become strong if your life is just cookies and cream being served to you in a golden bowl with a platinum spoon. Because that's the life of these Edomites, which are these so-called white people. That's their lifestyle. Their whole life is cookies and cream. Now, I'm talking about the wealthy and the rich among these Edomites. That's why when they lose their riches, their first instinct is to do what? Commit suicide. Why? Because they cannot deal with the harshness of being poor or being in the ghettos. But you see, if you were Israelite and you was born and raised in the ghettos, you're used to being poor. You're used to having little to nothing. You see? You're used to, walking through dangerous neighborhoods where there's constantly shootouts. Edomites can't deal with that. That's why when they know that they're about to lose it all, lose the paradise and the luxury of being able to go wherever they want at any time, when they realize that they're about to, lose all them fun and quality times they have with their families, when they realize they're about to lose having them house parties damn near every day, all those women, all them vehicles, and all those luxurious things they had, once they realize they're about to lose it all, not only do they commit suicide, but they murder their family in the process. Murder-suicide. Because they cannot handle pain. But they sure as hell know how to inflict pain. But when it comes to pain being inflicted on them, they can't handle it. Okay? They can't handle it. They run and take the easy way out, which is putting a bullet in their head and in the head of their family members. But you see, pain, learning how to deal with pain is how you're going to learn how to navigate through the harshness and the nastiness of life itself. You're not going to learn to navigate through the harshness of life itself if your life is just constantly cookies and cream, okay? It don't work that way. Here it is. You got a person, right? He's always complaining about how he never has any money to spend for himself. I'm always broke, bro. I'm always broke. Bro, you got money, man? I'm broke. You know why you're always broke? Because you don't know how to deal with the pain of waiting. Instead of saving up your money and waiting, you got to indulge right then and there. Here it is. You have an empty stomach and your mind is craving barbecue chicken. Barbecue chicken. Nigga, I'm hungry. Don't you see? I want something tasty. So instead of telling those demons, nah. Instead of telling your stomach, nah, no, you just go right on ahead and indulge. And right before you know it, you spending $12 on a tray of barbecue chicken from some restaurant. $12 down the drain because you couldn't control your appetite. You see? Oh shit, bro, it's hot outside. Cookies and cream ice cream sure do sound good right about now. So then you go and you buy a container of ice cream, $9 down the drain. Oh man, I wanna take this woman out to the movies with me because you couldn't control your lust. So what? You end up spending $20, $10 each just to go to the movies. Oh man, I can't wait to get that video game. $59.99 down the drain because the game just first came out and you like, shit, I gotta get it. Immediately you're indulging in those pleasures instead of suffering to wait, which in order to wait, it takes having to deal with pain. Nobody likes to wait, You waiting on the bus and shit, and here it is. You just get up and leave because the bus took too long because you couldn't wait. You couldn't handle the pain of waiting. So as soon as you walk off, 25 seconds later, the bus shows up, and then bam, you missed the fucking bus. Now you gotta walk home. It's gonna take you an hour. It's gonna take you an hour to get home. Now you gotta go on a hour-long journey walk just to get home because you couldn't deal with the patience, the suffering of waiting for the bus. So pain is not always a bad thing. Pain should really serve to make you stronger. When you get rebuked, yeah, it's going to hurt you emotionally, but it's for your embetterment to make you stronger. And rebuke is not always going to be some pleasant, nice words. Nah. Rebuke sometimes it's going to come in the form of cuss words. You might be called a whole ass nigga sometimes when you get rebuked, But more than likely, that's because you're acting like one. And you need to repent. Because the Lord is not, when Yahweh Shai returns, he's not coming back to deliver whole ass niggas. Okay? He's coming back to deliver elect men. Men that knows how to deal with pain, suffering. You see? Pain is how you become stronger, man. Like the guys that lift weights at the gym, right? They'll say, no pain, no gain. Well, guess what? Lifting weights is painful. Okay? Because after lifting weights for a while, they start to feel heavier and heavier. Your arms starts to become sore and hurt. Your arms start to become heavier. They start to become sore. They start to hurt. And why? Because you've been lifting weights. But guess what? You got to hurt your muscles in order to start to see results. Because when you lifting weights to the point to where your arm starts to hurt or it starts to become sore, that's you tearing your muscles. You got to tear your muscles in order to start to see results. If you want to learn how to handle rebuke, it starts with overcoming them negative thoughts that you get in your mind after getting rebuked. Nah, man, he called me a bitch. I don't like that shit, man. You fucking come at me like that. Nah, man, I don't like that, brother, because he called me a whole ass nigga. Nah, man, I'm gonna get back at him by doing this and that, and I'm gonna sneak a little something like this in his room, and then I'm gonna do a rebuke video on it. Look, man. Look, when it comes to getting rebuked, handling rebuke starts with overcoming those negative thoughts that you get in your mind that comes with you getting rebuked. Instead of thinking like, oh, nah, he should have never came at me like that. How about, he's right. Let me humble down and accept the correction and move on. Okay, because really, you're not supposed to be getting, rebuked. You're not supposed to be getting offended over getting rebuked. Okay, rebuke is a part of that sharp correction to making you sharper in the faith. You see? Like it tells you in Hebrews, the 12th chapter, if you deal with chastisements, the Lord dealeth with you as with sons. For who is he whom the Lord chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisements, then are ye bastards and not sons. You see that? So the Lord is not coming back to deliver bastards. You don't want to be looked at as a bastard in the eyes of the Lord, man. Okay? You want to be seen as a elect man of the Lord in the eyes of the Lord when he returns. Because the Lord is coming back to deliver men that are of the elect. Men who have went through sufferings, who have went through trials and errors and have overcome. As it is written, he that overcometh and keepeth my sayings unto the end, to him will I give him power over the nations. Yahushua did not get his glory because his walk of life was cookies and cream. Because if Yahushua's walk of life was cookies and cream for him to get the glory that he got, guess what? Our life will be cookies and cream, okay? We will have all the money in the world, okay? We will have the women we desire, you know? We wouldn't get punished for committing iniquities, okay? We'll be smoking weed, you know, just doing whatever in a wicked society, man. But you see, the Lord don't operate like that. You do something wrong, especially if it transgresses the law, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Scriptures, know that the Lord is going to punish you for it. And there's many ways he can punish you for your sins you committed when you was in the world or in your past life. He can cause your car to shut down. He might cause you to get fired from your job. He might cause your woman to buck up against you and leave you. You know, he might put spirit on your boss or your manager to chew you out. You just got to deal with it, man. Whatever the Lord bring upon you, you know, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. You can find that in the book of Sirach, the 2nd chapter. You know, the scriptures say, be patient when you are changed to a lower state. You know, the scriptures say, be not hasty to act when trial and tribulation come upon you. You know, be patient and wait upon the Lord. What did King David say in the book of Psalms? He said, blessed are they that wait upon the Lord. Okay. With that, I'm going to say shalom. It's on to the next one.